Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the channel with another
Yu-Gi-Oh! video!
If you enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile videos just like these, then attack that thumbs up button. And if you enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profiles that can link climb fairly quickly, then
Attack
that thumbs up button. If you enjoy playing zombies, attack that thumbs up button. And you might want to set that subscribe button so you can activate that notification bell so you don't miss any more Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profiles just like these. Okay, so a few years ago, someone told me they wanted to play vampires because they are into vampires and they liked the Yu-Gi-Oh! Vampire artwork, and they generally like vampires, so they wanted to play a vampire deck. So, and I've been working on this vampire deck ever since. Good, give her, I don't know, 2 to 4 years, somewhere in that line. And it's just because, well, we'll dive into this deck profile, and you'll see what we've come up with. We've had to wait because when we first started this vampire deck, it was before the release of the zombie horde with Doom King. So it was only after the release that the deck really got its upgrade. And ever since, I've been trying to get the right ratios, get it just right. And I think I finally got some synergy going on right here with where it's at with the playtesting that I've been doing with it recently after its recent modification. But before we dive into this deck profile, if you enjoy combo videos, if you enjoy combo tutorials, or just combo showcasings, then attack that thumbs up button. Okay, so before we get into the deck, kind of wanted to show you a little bit of its potential and what it can do with a quick little short test hand showcase here on EDO Pro. Without further ado, we'll dive right into this. So for our starting hand, we've got 3 cards that we want engraved, 1 we don't, and a card to put stuff engraved. So that's already off to a good start. The first thing we're going to do is get the vampire card out of our hand. Use Perform Pauper up to send all 3 to the grave. And when we do, we're going to chain Banshee so we can activate our zombie world. And immediately after chaining Banshee, we're also going to draw our 3 and then chain Mizuki to special summon our Doom King. Now looking at these 3 new cards, we've got ourselves a vampire retainer, and we got a vampire on field. We got Uni Zombie. So what we're going to do here, summon Uni Zombie, use its effect, put the vampire retainer in the grave, use retainer's effect to send Domain to grave, special summon it, and then use its ability when it's a special summon to add a vampire spell or trap for the hand. We're going to go for Desires. Then we're going to use Desires to target Uni Zombie, make it level 1, to go for our familiar, sending our familiar to grave. And we're also going to chain Uni Zombie to send Glow Up Bloom to grave, so we can special summon our second copy of Doom King. And from here, we're going to link into Vampire Sucker and pass turn so we can get the free drop by special summoning our Doom King during the opponent's standby phase. And at this point, oh, and look at that, we drew another vampire. And now the opponent's going to have to deal with a, beginning of the game right off the bat, negate and a banish. So we're going to assume we keep all this on board. Going to our second turn, we draw into a rivalry. What we're going to do first is we're going to activate our familiar engrave to pitch the familiar from hand so we can special summon the familiar from grave. And then we'll activate our vampire sucker and chain our familiar to add another vampire monster from deck to hand. Going for our other retainer, so we have more combo pieces. And vampire sucker is going to draw us into a second rivalry. So they destroy the first one, we just drew into a second one. That's not consistency. Alright. Normal summon our retainer. Sink Uni Zombie and Retainer into a Red Eyes Zombie Necro Dragon, which will then become 3200 attack. Bomber's going to try and bomb the field, but we're going to use Doom King to negate since it's a zombie in Zombie World. That way we can keep our monsters. Or we would blow up the board if we needed to. But we don't need to. In this instance, we're going to just go for game. Negate Bomber's effect, swing in for game. And that's all for this Test Hands Showcase on EDO Pro. On to the deck profile. So, without further ado, we'll dive right into this Zombie World Vampire deck. Starting off with the monsters. Running one of our keys, maxing out on 3 Uni Zombie. Discard from hand, send from deck. Just get our get as many zombies in grave as possible, basically. Also running double Jack-o'-Bolin to help get our zombies in the grave from out of our hand. And some targets for us to send to the grave. Running double Gozuki and triple Mizuki. Triple Vampire Retainer and triple Vampire Familiar for our vampire package pitching the grave. Double Necro World Banshee, double Glow Up Bloom, and you know what? Even pitch some Doom Kings to the grave if need be. So that worked. Zombie World on the field, Doom King and grave. Only running 2 of them. Because 3 is just too much. I mean, each copy gets, one or the other effect. So you're only going to get 2 effects between the 2 of them. So there's no sense in running a 3rd one, really. Especially since they're so searchable. 2 is the perfect ratio of Doom King Balderach, in my opinion. Now, some other targets. Some more of our vampires, to be more precise. We are running triple Vampire Frolin. In my opinion, one of the best out of all the vampires. That's why we maxed out on Vampire Frolin, also because she's a level 5. And just run some one-ofs for more of a vampire. Vampire Grimson, Vampire Scarlet Scourge, and Vampire Grace to complete our vampire engine. So, got a total of 6 vampires, other than what we're pitching to grave, so that we can run our engine. Moving along into our spells. Running triple Zombie World. We want everything to be zombies. Double Vampire's Domain. I'd really like to run 3 of these, but I misplaced my 3rd one somewhere. I may have to order another one. But I definitely would want to run max Vampire's Domain. It's a vampire card that you can use as cost with your retainer and your the other vampire. And 1 Vampire's Desire Mainly to send Vampire from the deck to the grave, get our engine going. You would always send either Retainer or Familiar off of that. And for our draw engine, because I also misplaced my card destruction, I have searched everywhere and the search continues. I am looking for my card destruction because this deck will have a card destruction. So, but in place of card destruction, I did go with one Performable Popper-Up. We're not running any Odd Eyes or Magician Pendulums in this. Just before you like skip the video because of that one card. We're not running Magician Pendulum monsters in here or Performable or Odd Eyes. It is simply to just send up to 3 cards from my hand to the grave, draw that many, and take 1,000 damage for each one. I do believe if you did not special summon, you lose. Yeah, so we would take 1,000 damage for each. But it's, you know, send up to 3 cards from hand to grave and draw that many. It's like the worst version of card destruction, but couldn't find it, and I'm not a fan of hand destruction because you can't even activate hand destruction if they have less than 2 cards in their hand. And that's came up a lot. So that's why I'm kind of hurting myself on the Performable Popper-Up right now. But it gets the job done. It gets the job done. Also some one-ofs. 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Transmodify, 1 Super Polymerization for Zombie Fusion. Again, Foolish Burial just to get more into the grave. And 1 Monster Reborn, because it's Monster Reborn and it's zombies, so that's mandatory. Also a Book of Life for more graveyard recursion. Special summon a zombie, and then remove a monster from the opponent's graveyard from play. And speaking of removing monsters from the opponent's graveyard from play, also running 1 Called by the Grave, because we're going to be going into our deck a lot. So Called by the Grave, when we see it, will be great. Few other cards to just get that Vampire engine going. Double Vampire Awakening. Getting into our traps now. That was all for the spells. And for a little bit of control package, since we're running Zombie World, we are running double Rivalry of the Warlords. So everything's a zombie and you can only play zombie. And for some more recursion from the Banished, because we're going to be doing a lot of banishing as well. Return of the Zombies. You can banish a zombie on the field. In a sense, everything on the field is a zombie. You could simply banish an opponent's monster and then special summon a monster from their grave other than that in defense position just to get this in the grave. Then banish this from grave to shuffle either your Familiar or your Retainer back into the deck and set this card again to banish another card again. So you get a lot of a lot of value out of that card right there. So yeah. And last but not least, one's experimental tech for the last of the traps, 1 Grinning Grave Virus. Tribute 1 dark monster with 3,000 or less attack. Your opponent destroys a card of their choice in their hand or deck for every 500 attack that monster had on the field. Doom King's 2,800. So, how many cards is that going to destroy in their hand or deck? Yeah. So you get a lot of value out of this as well. You also get to look at all cards in your opponent draws until the end of their 3rd turn if you did use a monster with 2,000 or more attack for the cost. So Doom King is perfect synergy with this. Perfect synergy. And even some of our vampires. I mean, Vampire Grace, 2,000 attack. You can make Frolin 2,000 attack. Could. Our Crimson, guess what? Our Crimson is 2,000 attack. It's Doom King's 2,800 attack. Scarlet Scourge is 2,200 attack. So you kind of see where I'm getting at with this card. You got targets. You've got targets. Grinning Grave Virus. Just to kind of get a head start on destroying their combo pieces, potentially. Or if you're going up against the wrong deck, this could actually help them and hurt you. So it just kind of depends on the situation. If I was to change anything with this deck, I would probably take out the Grinning Grave Virus to put in a debunk, and probably even take out one of these rivalries for another debunk, since we are going into the deck a lot. We'd have at least one Call by the Grave and 2 debunk at that point. So debunk is very good protection against hand traps. So just throwing it out there. Debunk's good tech. Alright, and that's all for the main deck. Now on to the extra deck. 1 Link Karibo. Double Vampire Sucker for our draw engine. 1 Avendred Savior, just, to kind of get into our deck, get the engine going if need be. And since we're going to be putting out combo pieces on the field, even beyond the links, just some Link 4 options. Borosword Dragon, Topologic Bomber Dragon comboed off with Doom King is amazing. Love it. But the absolute boss out of our links, boss monster of the deck, in my opinion, is Yuki-Onna, the absolute zero Mayakashi. If a monster is special summoned from the graveyard, or a monster effect is activated in the graveyard, yeah, you get to target a monster on the field. Yes, it targets. But if it goes through, if you can target a face-up monster, any face-up monster on the field, change its attack to 0, and it has its effects negated. And that's permanent. That's not until end of turn.
That's permanent.
Not till end of turn. And she's a 2,900 beat stick? Yeah. So, and Doom King comboed off with her. Doom King can combo off with this. If you go into the rivalry lock, you would use her. Without the rivalry of Warlord's lock, you would want to go into top logic Bomber Dragon before the lock if you can. Preferably. Get the Bomber Dragon on the field, then go into your lock. Because then you lock them down to one monster that you're going to keep blowing up. You'll just attack him directly. Blow up that one monster, attack him directly. Blow up that one monster, attack him directly till they're dead. Love it. That's all for the links. Got a few XZs, but, mainly been just link summoning with this deck. I mean, I haven't really needed to go into an Arc Rebellion XYZ Dragon. Hasn't came up yet. Been nice if I could have, but it just hasn't came up yet to have 3 level 5s on the field. All at once, yet. Deck does have the potential one, especially running as much graveyard recursion as that deck has, and 4 level 5s. Also running 1 Photon Strike Bouncer. Once per turn, monster effect negate, and 1,000 damage. Plus, we're running a Fairy Knight Inganar. Once per turn, it's a 1. You get to return all of the cards on the field to the hand, and the opponent can't respond. So if things are just getting out of hand, boom. Let the Fairy Knight handle business for you. Now I have had some Synchro come up. I was able to consistently pull out the Red Eyes Zombie Necro Dragon easy, no problem. So this deck can definitely Synchro to level 7. It has potential to sync for 8. Hasn't come up yet, But if it did, my first choice would be a Borreload Savage Dragon with all the links that this deck can go through. It's got the link potential. It's there. Otherwise, if the situation called for it, Dark End Dragon, just to pay 500 attack and it is targeting, but if you can target, you can send that target to the grave. So, if you need to get over something that can't die by card effect or by battle, then just send it to the grave. So, that's all for the synchros. Now for our fusion, we are running the Draco Necro Nether Soul Dragon. Cannot be destroyed by battle with this card. Monsters cannot be destroyed by battle with this card. It's really odd effect. Monsters cannot be destroyed by battle with this card. But at the end of the damage step, if it battled a monster that had a level, that monster's attack becomes 0. And as long as it's on the field, you get to special summon a token. A Dark Soul token. It's the level and attack equal to the level and attack of the monster it battled. So, has potential to get into some big assist and getting into some synchro climbing. But, I mean, other than that, it makes their attack 0, and you can attack into it with the vampires and gain life points. So, hasn't come up yet. Okay, hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back from the deck profile. This will be the test hand video, as promised. We're all shuffled up and ready to get started with this. So, draw our opening hand. It's our starting hand. And we're going to be going second, so draw for turn. That's what we got to work with. Okay. We had double familiar last time. Now we got double retainer. The odds of that crap. Got a Grinning Grave Virus to tribute something in 3000 or less. We got a Doom King. Of course, we're gonna bring out our zombie world. Set our Grinning Grave for later. Shoot. That's a level 2, so we can't link it away, unfortunately. So our only choice is to Glow Up Bloom, link it away. Or link Karibo. And activate its ability to bring out Doom King from the deck. Or another vampire from the deck. You could actually do that. any level 5 or higher, you know. Go for the big daddy himself, Doom King Baldrach. And link these two away. Since we already got into our vampire engine, our Doom King engine, sorry, our zombie engine, bring out our vampire sucker, and we would pass on opponent's turn, or on opponent's standby phase. Doom King would come to the field. So Doom King, trigger sucker. We would draw into Frolin. We would have this kind of a hand right here during the standby opponent's turn. Draw for turn when they pass, because we would have our negate. Just assuming this stays on board. Draw into a transmod, which is kind of good. Kind of good. Kind of good. I would probably tribute the battle drop, bring out a Frolin, you know, just because Doom King's free, you know, just saying. I mean, the other option is you leave Doom King and you summon a vampire retainer and you link these two away right here to go into a Vendread Savior, you know. That'd be a thing you could do. Because then this would trigger for us to draw into a Jack of Bolin. And then we could trigger our Vampire Retainer Engrave to tribute our Retainer and special summon our Retainer, you know. Still got this kind of hand right here. Could activate Jack of Bolin to discard the Doom King, okay. So special summon the Jack of Bolin. And from here, we would link again. Alright, and from here, you would link away your Vampire Sucker and a Vendread Savior, 2 zombies, 2 link 2s, go into the Yukiona, Absolute Zero Mayakashiki, right? And you could even continue from here if you really wanted to, linking these away. This would get banished, that would go to grave. Let's go even further. I would probably just go for another Vampire Sucker, to be honest. And I'll pass on that. During the opponent's standby phase, bring out the Doom King again, which triggered the Vampire Sucker again to draw into a Super Polymerization. So yeah, and then would also trigger this. So that's our going second. See what I mean? Going second. Yeah, the transmod really didn't do anything for us, but going second. I mean, we had this Grinning Grave virus the whole time. We could use it right now. Actually, it would be a good time to tribute the Doom King and destroy a card in the opponent's hand or deck for every 500 attack. You know, so that was a play that could be made. And that's all for this test hand clip here. All right, you saw the going first is kind of, it's rough. It's not that great, but going second, not too bad. Not too bad. Zombies are a big brain mechanic. It really takes a lot of thinking, strategizing, and playing the right cards in the right order. But yeah, so that's it for this test hand video. If you enjoyed this test hand video, attack that thumbs up button. If you want to see more test hand videos like this on deck profiles, so may be something that I include in the future. So, just like this. But yeah, let me know. Let me know in the comments. What do you think of me putting these test hand videos in here? Do you prefer them the real life cards or the EDO Pro? So, or do you like me doing both? Should I continue to do both with every deck profile? Let me know. We'll see you in the next one. And that is all for the deck profile. If you enjoyed this video, attack that thumbs up button. And if it's your first time to the channel, don't forget to set that subscribe button and activate that notification bell. This is your rogue underdog gamer signing off. It's your move.